All about the presidents of the 19th century. Number 1. George Washington, president from 1789 to 1797. George Washington, the first president of the United States, is often referred to as the father of his country. He led the Continental Army to victory over Great Britain in the American Revolutionary War and later presided over the Constitutional Convention of 1787, which devised the new Constitution of the United States. As president, he established many protocols for the new government, including the cabinet system and the inaugural address. His decision to step down after 2 terms set a precedent that would be followed by his successors until Franklin D. Roosevelt. Number 2. John Adams, president from 1797 to 1801. John Adams, the second president, was a leading advocate for independence during the American Revolution and a key figure in drafting the Declaration of Independence. His presidency was marked by the XYZ affair, which led to the Quasi-War with France, and the controversial Alien and Sedition Acts, which restricted speech critical of the government. Adams also oversaw the peaceful transition of power to his rival, Thomas Jefferson, highlighting the strength of the young republic's democratic processes. Number 3. Thomas Jefferson, president from 1801 to 1809. Thomas Jefferson, the third president, is best known for authoring the Declaration of Independence and for the Louisiana Purchase, which doubled the size of the United States. His presidency focused on reducing the national debt and government size while promoting an agrarian vision for America. Jefferson also faced challenges such as the Barbary Wars and the Embargo Act of 1807, which aimed to pressure Britain and France during the Napoleonic Wars but hurt American trade. Number 4. James Madison, president from 1809 to 1817. James Madison, the fourth president and father of the Constitution, led the nation during the War of 1812 against Great Britain. His presidency was challenged by the invasion of Washington, D.C., and the burning of the White House. However, Madison's leadership saw the nation through the conflict and into a period of post-war growth and national pride, known as the Era of Good Feelings. Number 5. James Monroe, president from 1817 to 1825. James Monroe, the fifth president, is best known for the Monroe Doctrine, a cornerstone of American foreign policy which opposed European colonization in the Americas. His presidency, dubbed the Era of Good Feelings, was marked by national unity and territorial expansion, including the acquisition of Florida from Spain. Monroe's policies promoted infrastructure improvements and economic growth, laying the groundwork for the American system. Number 6. John Quincy Adams, president from 1825 to 1829. John Quincy Adams, the sixth president, advocated for modernization and education. His ambitious agenda included a national university, astronomical observatories, and infrastructure projects like roads and canals. Despite his vision, Adams faced strong opposition in Congress, limiting his accomplishments. After his presidency, he served in the House of Representatives, where he became a leading opponent of slavery. Number 7. Andrew Jackson, president from 1829 to 1837. Andrew Jackson, the seventh president, was a populist who expanded the power of the presidency. His policies included the controversial Indian Removal Act, which led to the Trail of Tears, and his opposition to the Second Bank of the United States, which he viewed as a tool of the elite. Jackson's presidency also saw the nullification crisis, where he asserted federal authority over states' rights, reinforcing the Union. Number 8. Martin Van Buren, president from 1837 to 1841. Martin Van Buren, the eighth president, faced the Panic of 1837, an economic crisis that defined his presidency. His response to the Depression included the establishment of an independent treasury system to stabilize the economy. Despite his efforts, Van Buren's presidency was marred by economic hardship and he was unable to secure re-election. Number 9. William Henry Harrison, president in 1841. William Henry Harrison, the ninth president, served the shortest term in U.S. history, dying just 31 days after taking office. His long inaugural address in cold, wet weather likely contributed to his fatal illness. Harrison's death highlighted the need for clearer presidential succession procedures, eventually leading to the 25th Amendment. Number 10. John Tyler, president from 1841 to 1845. John Tyler, the 10th president, assumed office after Harrison's death and set the precedent that the vice president becomes president upon the death of the sitting president. Tyler's presidency was marked by conflicts with his own Whig party, leading to his expulsion from the party. He achieved significant foreign policy successes, including the annexation of Texas. Number 11. James K. Polk, President from 1845 to 1849. James K. Polk, the 11th President, is known for his expansionist vision, achieving significant territorial gains for the U.S. through the Mexican-American War, resulting in the acquisition of California and the Southwest. Polk also oversaw the Oregon Treaty with Britain, securing the Pacific Northwest. His presidency fulfilled his ambitious agenda but left him exhausted, leading him to not seek re-election. Number 12. Zachary Taylor, President from 1849 to 1850. Zachary Taylor, the 12th President, was a hero of the Mexican-American War with little political experience. His brief presidency was dominated by debates over the expansion of slavery into the new territories. Taylor opposed the Compromise of 1850, which aimed to address these tensions, but his sudden death left the resolution to his successor. Number 13. Millard Fillmore, President from 1850 to 1853. Millard Fillmore, the 13th President, assumed office after Taylor's death and supported the Compromise of 1850, which included the controversial Fugitive Slave Act. Fillmore's support for the compromise aimed to ease sectional tensions but alienated anti-slavery factions, diminishing his political support and leading to his unsuccessful bid for re-election. Number 14. Franklin Pierce, President from 1853 to 1857. Franklin Pierce, the 14th President, saw his administration marred by the intensification of sectional conflicts over slavery. The Kansas-Nebraska Act, which Pierce supported, allowed territories to decide on slavery through popular sovereignty, leading to violent confrontations known as Bleeding Kansas. His inability to ease tensions contributed to his political downfall. Number 15. James Buchanan, President from 1857 to 1861. James Buchanan, the 15th President, is often criticized for his inaction as the nation moved towards civil war. His presidency was marked by the Dred Scott decision, which denied citizenship to African Americans, and his failure to address the secession of Southern states. Buchanan's indecisiveness and inability to prevent the impending conflict tarnished his legacy. Number 16. Abraham Lincoln, President from 1861 to 1865. Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President, led the United States through the Civil War, preserving the Union and ending slavery. His Emancipation Proclamation and Gettysburg Address are among his most significant achievements. Lincoln's leadership during the war and his vision for reconciliation were cut short by his assassination in 1865. Number 17. Andrew Johnson, President from 1865 to 1869. Andrew Johnson, the 17th President, assumed office after Lincoln's assassination and faced the daunting task of Reconstruction. His lenient approach towards the Southern states and frequent clashes with the radical Republicans in Congress led to his impeachment, although he was acquitted by one vote. Johnson's presidency is often seen as a failed opportunity for meaningful progress in civil rights and Reconstruction. Number 18. Ulysses S. Grant, President from 1869 to 1877. Ulysses S. Grant, the 18th President and a Civil War hero, focused on Reconstruction and civil rights for freed slaves. His administration established the Department of Justice and worked to suppress the Ku Klux Klan. However, Grant's presidency was plagued by corruption scandals, including the Whiskey Ring and the Credit Mobilier scandal, which tarnished his reputation despite his efforts to promote equality. Number 19. Rutherford B. Hayes, President from 1877 to 1881. Rutherford B. Hayes, the 19th President, is best known for ending Reconstruction through the Compromise of 1877, which resolved the disputed 1876 election. Hayes withdrew federal troops from the South, effectively ending efforts to protect the rights of African Americans. His presidency also focused on civil service reform and efforts to reconcile a divided nation. Number 20. James A. Garfield, President in 1881. James A. Garfield, the 20th President, served only a few months before being assassinated. A strong advocate for civil service reform, his presidency was cut short by an assassin's bullet. Garfield's death ultimately spurred the passage of the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, which aimed to reduce corruption by making government positions merit-based. Number 21. Chester A. Arthur, President from 1881 to 1885. Chester A. Arthur, the 21st President, succeeded Garfield and surprised many by advocating for civil service reform despite his background in machine politics. He signed the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act, which established a merit-based system for federal employment. Arthur's presidency also saw the modernization of the U.S. Navy and efforts to reduce tariffs. Number 22. Grover Cleveland, President from 1885 to 1889. Grover Cleveland, the 22nd and later 24th President, was known for his honesty and fight against political corruption. During his first term, he focused on civil service reform, tariff reduction, and vetoing private pension bills that he deemed fraudulent. Cleveland's commitment to principle over party politics earned him respect but also opposition, leading to his defeat in the 1888 election. Number 23. Benjamin Harrison, President from 1889 to 1893. Benjamin Harrison, the 23rd President, presided over a period of economic expansion and enacted significant legislation. His administration saw the passage of the McKinley Tariff, which raised duties on imports, and the Sherman Antitrust Act, aimed at curbing monopolies and promoting fair competition. Harrison also expanded the U.S. Navy and supported veterans' pensions. However, his high spending contributed to the federal budget surplus and increased political opposition, which played a role in his defeat in the 1892 election. Number 24. Grover Cleveland, President from 1893 to 1897. Grover Cleveland, the 24th President, returned for a second non-consecutive term after losing the 1888 election. His second presidency was marked by economic challenges, including the Panic of 1893, which led to a severe depression. Cleveland's focus on maintaining the gold standard and his reluctance to intervene in the economy were controversial. Despite his efforts to stabilize the economy, his administration was criticized for not doing enough to address the economic hardships faced by many Americans. Number 25. William McKinley, President from 1897 to 1901. William McKinley, the 25th President, led the nation through the Spanish-American War, resulting in the U.S. acquiring territories like Puerto Rico, Guam, and the Philippines. His presidency also saw economic prosperity, bolstered by the Dingley Tariff and the gold standard. McKinley's leadership during the war and his efforts to promote American industrial growth were cut short by his assassination in 1901, leading to Theodore Roosevelt's presidency. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the past,